Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 6th day of March 2024. It is Wednesday of the third week of Lent. It is also the 17th day of the Lenten season. We have just gotten done with Mass this morning from in our church for our community, for our Franciscan school community. And so now I have got to run to the diocese for a meeting that I'm already late for. So very quick little reflection today as I leave the church building. It is a rainy day today in Carolina. It's going to probably be rainy all day today. The big thing about today's readings is Matthew's Gospel, because Matthew's Gospel actually points out a very interesting facet of what it is that we believe. And again, we always talk about heaven and hell, heaven and hell, heaven and hell, heaven and hell. And again, heaven, the place of reward, hell, the place of punishment. But this reading is very interesting because, again, it's following on the Sermon on the Mount, again, in which Jesus blesses those who the world looks down upon and the world seems to ignore, and the world pushes to the margins. But it really, they are not lost, and they are not, in the end, the ones who will suffer, again, continue to suffer their pains. Everything will be relieved of their suffering and of their pains. Again, when at the end of time, in the life to come, it's never, clear if it should be here and now, and in some ways it should be here and now. But the wonderful thing about that sermon is that it leads into other than things that Jesus is talking about. And this one, this part of that sermon is on basically where do we end up? What is destined for us? Not only in the world to come, but also in the here and now. And Jesus again speaks about fulfilling the law and the prophets, and not destroying them. But again, those who listen, to what it is that God asks us to do, what will become of them? Well, they'll be great in the kingdom of God, in the reign of God. Well, yes, of course, we all know that. But those who do not listen, and even worse, teach others not to listen to God's commands, where will they be? Well, they're also going to be in the reign of God. They're going to be in the kingdom of God. They're just going to be the least in the kingdom of God. And that's kind of an interesting thing to point out. There is no heaven and hell talk in this passage that Jesus is talking about. There are other passages, yes, in which Jesus talks about punishments and that. And of course, there's the final judgment scene, which is only in Matthew's Gospel. And we make a whole big deal about it because we want people who've hurt us to continue to hurt forever, which is not a good perspective on life. And so this kind of subtle little reality that kind of creeps into this part of the Sermon on the Mount about, again, everyone being destined for the reign of God, everyone being destined for the kingdom of heaven. But places within it kind of in some ways depend upon how much that we have lived a life that is attentive, to what it is that God asks us to do and who God asks us to be. Again, to do those 5 basic attitudes and behaviors: to love, to give, to forgive, to be merciful, to not judge. Those of us who engage in them, yes, may become greatest in the kingdom and the reign of God. And we do so without arrogance, without pride. But those who don't even bother to, attempt them, who even in some ways say that they are worthless and meaningless, and again, run off on their own accord and try to control things by their own will, well, yes, the reign of God will become part of their lives, but they will find themselves in the back of the plane. And nobody wants to be in the back of the plane. And so why should we, work to become the back of the plane? Society and culture rewards those who do not pay attention in many ways to what it is that God asks us to do, because society and culture think it's worthless. But we don't, and we shouldn't. And we shouldn't try to keep moving in that wrong direction of thinking that what God asks us to do is impossible or meaningless or not worth it at all. We are called to be people who help one another with those 5 simple behaviors, to attain what is best for us, what it is that in many ways we do deserve, but we do not work for or earn it. It is God's gift to us, and God's gift to us that is revealed. The more that we are loving, forgiving, the more that we are kind, the more that we are merciful, the more that we stop, trying to be people who judge everything and everyone. Continue blessed Lent, St. Francis and people of God, and a blessed day to you. May the Lord give you his peace.